Connected. That's great. So I'm here to talk to you about the Holosoma today. First of all, I want to thank Isaac for the invitation for the bridge talks, right? And I'm from Reaprendencia, and this is a very good partnership so that we can talk and learn how to give lectures in English. That's a very good challenge for us, right? And I'm very happy to be here. I welcome you all. And let's get started then, okay? So I'm going to talk about Reaprendencia. Reaprendencia is a non-profit organization that specializes in conscientiology and education. It promotes educational and research activities focusing on pedagogy, parapedagogy, and re-education. So when we talk about this conscientiocentric institution, we are very much connected to teachers' formation and re-education. It means that how can we learn things again in a broader way, in a better way, and do some self-recycling things, have self-knowledge, have more a broader view about the things, the universe. And for example, we offer classes, lectures, and a variety of events that promotes evolution, personal growth and development, and studies also the paranormal phenomena, and also brings to us energetic balance and energetic techniques, right? This is Reaprendencia. I'm a volunteer at Reaprendencia for 5 years, and I'm mainly focused in the international area. Well, last week, Professor Alexander Zaslavsky showed you about the consciential paradigm. I don't know if you were all there in his lecture, but he talked about the consciential paradigm. It is based on 7 premises. What are them? The first is holosomatics that we are going to see today in more details, right? But I'm going to briefly go through all of them. The second premise on the consciential paradigm is multidimensionality. It means that we have a multidimensional life. We are constantly interacting and dealing with other dimensions, not only the physical one. Another premise is it's called seriality. It means that we are having many lives. This is not our first life. We had previous one, and we will keep on having other lives. And that's part of our evolutionary process, because in each life we learn more, we acquire new experience, we get to know more people, and are able to self-assist ourselves and assist the others. The fourth premise of the consciential paradigm talks about bioenergetics. It means that our life is pretty much bioenergetic. We are constantly exchanging energies with the others and exchanging energies with the nature. And these energies are not only the material, physical ones, but they are also extra physical energies, right? The premise number 5 is universalism. That is, we as consciousnesses, we are universalists. For example, we are now born, I was born in this life as Eliane Voslav. I'm a teacher, I live in Brazil, but in previous lives, probably I had another nationalities. So I belong to other genders, and I lived with other cultures. So universalism gives us a view that we are not only from one nationality, we are more than that, right? And that's very much connected to evolution, because the universalist values are very much connected to every human being. We have the same values if we are going to study them deeply. And there is another premise that is cosmoethics, that is the universal ethic that's beyond the law that we commonly know, that is commonly known. Cosmoethics is broader as well. And the other premise is self-research. It means that as much as we evolve through knowing ourselves better and doing self-research. And that's a point that is very important in our lecture, because knowing this concept of Holosoma will help us doing a better self-research, right? Let's go ahead then. So the main objective of this lecture is to introduce to you the Holosoma and its 4 bodies, right? We are going to see that Conscientiology, according to Conscientiology, we have not only one body, not only the physical one, but we have a total of 4 bodies. And we have to discuss the idea of holosomatic homeostasis. What is that? It's when there is a balance between the 4 bodies, right? And our focus is to have a better quality of life, getting to know this concept, the Holosoma, right? Well, here we have also the principle of disbelief. That means don't believe in anything in what you hear here. The best is to experiment, to have your own experience, and to see if what I'm talking about has logic to you. It makes sense, right? This is what for us to have our critical thoughts, our critical thinking very much aware, right? And so let's get started with the Holosoma. What is the definition? From Greek, holo means whole, total, and soma means body, right? So the Holosoma is the complete set of bodies through which the consciousnesses or the egos manifest in the physical and extra-physical dimensions, right? This is a definition from Professor Valdo Vieira, the propositor of the science Conscientiology. And this Holosoma is formed by the Soma, that is the physical body, by the Energosoma, that is the energetic body, the Psychosoma, emotional body, and the mental Soma, that is the intellectual body. When we say body, there is a synonym for it. We call it also vehicle of manifestation of consciousness, because the consciousness, we use them, these bodies, to manifest in different dimensions, but the consciousness is neither of them. The consciousness is something else, right? So here you can see a figure in this picture. You can see, or in these images, you can take a look in what is the Holosoma. It's representing the Holosoma. We have here the Soma that is laying down, and we have this another body that is a copy of the Soma that is called the Holosoma, right? Sorry, it's called the Psychosoma. That's the corp or the body of emotions. And then you can see this image that is this lighter part here. It is the Energosoma. That is also a body, but it doesn't have a shape, right? And we have the connections. The connection that connects Soma and the Psychosoma is called the silver cord. And there is also an energetic connection called golden cord that connects the consciousness or the Psychosoma, that is this vehicle here, to the intellectual vehicle called mental Soma. Okay? So when we can take a look, I want to explore more this picture here so that you can see that, for example, when we go to sleep, everyone has out-of-body experiences. but not all of them are lucid ones, right? And so, for example, when we have this, the body is laying down here, it has part of the Energosoma is all connected with the physical body, and while the Psychosoma projects itself for out of the physical body, part of this Energosoma is also in the Psychosoma. Can you see that this luminous part is divided between these two vehicles, right? And they are connected with the silver cord, right? Some people, when are projected, can even perceive and touch this silver cord that is in this nuchal area, right? It's connected from this chakra, this part here in the forehead that is called frontal chakra, and connected to the nuchal part of the Psychosoma, right? So this is a representation of the Holosoma. Let's go ahead to see more, and we are going to talk about how do they behave, what are the characteristics of these vehicles, right? There's a question just for you to think, right? If we have several bodies or vehicles of manifestations, where are they when we are awake? For example, now, right? So this is a basic question when you are first getting to know the Holosoma. When we are awake like that, they're all aligned, they are all together, right? So here we have another picture that it's it's representing all the vehicles, the four bodies aligned, and the consciousness is in there, right? It's we say that the consciousness is very much connected with the parabrain that is in the Psychosoma, that's the brain of the Psychosoma, right? And the consciousness is very much related to the parabrain and mental soma, right? So we are all aligned. That's the answer for this question. Here is also a representation of multi-dimensionality. We have some, let's divide didactically in 4 extra physical dimensions. That is the energetic one, the tropospheric, that's near the physical dimension, the extra physical, that's more subtle, that we manifest over there through the Psychosoma, and there is also the mental somatic dimension, right? That is more subtle than the extra physical one. So in the next slide, we can see that we have the idea of Tosin, that is thoughts, sentiments, and energies, right? I think you've heard about the Tosin, that we don't think. We are always, in fact, according to Conscientiology, we have Tosins. We Tosinize, right? Because every time we had a thought, this thought is born usually in the mental soma, and that thought will exteriorize or transmit sentiments and transmit energies. So if we have a bad thought, a bad idea, a negative criticism, then the sentiments are not so positive, and the energies will not be so positive either. So that's how multi-dimension works, right? Every time we are thinking, in fact, we are tokenizing and exteriorizing our energies through that thoughts, right? So going a little bit more ahead, again, the Holosoma, right? But we can see here another representation of the Energosoma, just for you to think about, would be when we have, let's do an analogy. That's, for example, let's suppose that I have a sandwich, that bread, cheese sandwich, right? 2 slices of bread and some cheese inside it. When, if I warm that sandwich a little bit, warm it up, and then when I'm going to separate the slices of bread, there will be some cheese inside it, and some of the cheese is going to be in one slice of bread, and some other cheese, the other slice will also have some of that melted cheese. So that mass that inside of both slices, we can yes, compare to the Energosoma, right? Because whenever the Soma is, for example, when we have an out-of-body experience, the Energosoma is divided, right? It's a little bit in the Soma and a little bit in the Psychosoma, okay? So, talking about the Soma, well, the Soma is the physical body, and it's used to manifest in the physical dimension. It's more rustic, dense, and at the same time is fragile. We have to take care of it. We have to get dressed, to wash it, to protect it, otherwise it gets hurt. It allows interaction with the physical dimension, but at the same time, we can say that the consciousness, as the consciousness isn't the Soma, it uses the Soma to manifest in the physical dimension, we can say that the consciousness never touches the physical reality. The one who touches is the Soma, this more dense vehicle, right? And there is a question for you now, for you. Do you neglect your Soma? How do you take care of it? Are you aware that you are using this Soma for having this life, so for living in this dimension? So it's a lot of responsibility, because if we are here, it's a great opportunity for learning more things. And some people are very are not worried about the Soma, and have some behaviors that will end up bringing disease, bringing them physical disease, right? So it's something for us to think about our responsibility with our Soma, okay? And talking about the Psychosoma, I will go ahead a little bit, because there is another slide that I want to show you, okay? So the Psychosoma, as I told you, is the emotional body. It's the vehicle in most out-of-body experiences. And it's also, there are many synonyms for Psychosoma. For example, there is a book here, I'll show you. Oh, I can't, you're going, in this moment I can't show you because you're seeing the slides, but I will tell you the name of it. There is a great book called History of Parasitism. And in this book, it's kind of a treatise about parasitism. And it shows all the history of the parasitism, and that the Psychosoma is recognized by many cultures since ancient times, and they have different names for it. So if you go into, for example, in the old cultures from nowadays, they know Psychosoma and they have different names. Some of their names are perispirit, soul, astral body, but there are more here. You can even in the book, in the treatise Projectology, you can take a look there, and there are many other names for the Psychosoma. And is a vehicle which is very much similar to the Soma. It's a copy. It's where the consciousness can manifest in the extra physical dimension. It's sensitive to thoughts, and it has a lot of abilities or skills. It can overpass doors and walls, can depending on the consciousness, if she dominates the energy, the Psychosoma is possible to do some transfiguration of the psychosoma and appear in the extra-physical dimension with some different kinds of clothes or appearances. And it's very elastic. It has a natural luminosity. It feels no pain. It feels no cold. It doesn't need to drink or eat. And the psychosoma also brings us our paragenetic skills, right? Some skills that we acquired in our previous lives, right? It's all in the psychosoma, okay? And there is some other situations here. For example, even if we have this kind of projection that is called the exoprojection, when you go out of the planet, you go very far, and your silver cord is very subtle, very much more subtle than if you were projected in your sleeping room, right? In your bedroom. And it's in this exoprojection, the silver cord will be very thin, but still so it's connected to your body sleeping in your bedroom, right? And so it's possible. I once or twice I had this experience of having an exoprojection that you feel very fast. You go out of the body very fast, and then all of a sudden you see yourself in the space, and you see things. You know that you are very far away from your body, and it's a very interesting experience. Everyone can have this if with training, with goodwill, and it's possible to reach this experience. And you can also volitate during your projections using your psychosoma. You can meet people who already had passed away, talk to them, exchange ideas, and this is something that also through the manifestation of psychosoma, it's possible. And now let's talk about the Energosoma, okay? That is the energetic body, also known as Holochakra, because it's the set of all chakras. It's there in the Energosoma. As I told you, remember the sandwich and the cheese, the melted cheese inside it? This is the Energosoma. And its functions are to vitalize the soma, because it absorbs, as the Energosoma has chakras, it is constantly absorbing the immanent energies, and it is vitalizing the soma. And it links the soma with the psychosoma, right? During the out-of-body experience. And when the Energosoma is more flexible and loose, it means that the consciousness, the person will have more lucidity during this coincidence. What that means? For example, if you project yourself, if you have a out-of-body experience, and you are inside your bedroom, right? You are inside your bedroom, then you can go out of the body. Over there, you might feel that you are not so aware, you're not so lucid, you're more kind of sleepy and less lucid, and because you are your Energosoma is very dense. There is a lot of energy. And when you go out of, for example, there is a limit of 4 meters. When you go beyond 4 meters of your physical body that is there laying down, sleeping, you might feel that your lucidity is going to increase, because your Energosoma will be less dense, right? And another thing is, the Energosoma does not carry the consciousness, right? But it has this functions, as I told you. It's the set of the chakras, right? A chakra, just to remind you, some that might be new, A chakra is a vortex, a center for processing energies. Let's see them a little bit more. So here we have another representation of the Energosoma, right? Behind here, this picture, this luminous part. So it's very luminous. It's a vibratory. We can move our energies through the Energosoma. We can expand, exteriorize our energies, and do assistance through the expansion of our energies. We can absorb energies to reestablish our balance. And in this way, we vitalize the human body, right? And the Energosoma is very much connected with Chinese medicine and homeopathy. And it's not, for example, is not an instrument of lucidity. When we are, as I told you, if our Energosoma is very dense, then we will have less lucidity. If our Energosoma is more subtle, when we go farther from our body, then we are going to be more lucid with the out of body experience, right? And I was talking about the chakras as well. And here we have the representation of the chakras. Here are the main ones, right? We have the coronal chakra, frontal chakra, laryngeal chakra here in this throat region, cardiac chakra near the heart, umbilical chakra near the belly, and sexo chakra, nuchal chakra, splenical chakra, and that's responsible for absorbing energies, and palm chakras, that is on our hands. Soul chakras as well, responsible for absorbing energies, telluric energies from the earth. And this is a summary of the main chakras. But we have more than that. We usually think that each pore of us would be a chakra, able to absorb energies or exteriorize energies. And you can have, there is many techniques, many energetic techniques that you can put this into practice. You can have your experiences, right? And see the expansion of energies. You feel, for example, if you move your energies upside down, you're going to feel this Energosoma, you're going to feel some chakras that are more active and others that might be more blocked. And that is a very nice and important way for us to get to know about our status. How is our health, right? Seeing which chakras are more blocked and which ones the energy flows better, okay? So going a little bit more ahead, here we have a summary of each chakra function, right? I will go through it so that we can have more time for questions after our lecture, okay? And here is another way to test the Energosoma. For example, if you go into the nature and you can get in contact with some trees or even rocks, and through your palm chakras, you exteriorize your energies and you start assimilating the energies of, for example, a tree, and you are going to perceive that if you each tree has a different standard of energies, you can interact to it and really perceive the energies. It's a very interesting exercises. And you can also do this exercise here, that you put your palm chakras one in from the other and you exteriorize energies, and you're going to see that forms a ball of energy. It's very much easy to do that. Only if you concentrate a little bit, you're going to form that ball of energy so you can perceive how it works. And it's very interesting exercise for you it's a way of confirming the existence of the Energosoma, right? And now we came to the mental soma. That is a more sophisticated and more complex body, and it's represented by a ball, but in fact it doesn't have a format of. We don't know its shape. What we know is that there is no defined shape. It's represented by a ball of energy. That's the mental soma, right? And for example, if the ones who had a mental soma projection, because it's a different projection, is not. It's possible for us to project ourselves, to go out of the body with the psychosoma, and it's also possible to have a mental soma projection. It means that your mental soma is go into this coincidence and goes out of the psychosoma, right? And it's a completely different experience, because you are much more aware, and you aren't going to see your psychosoma. You are going to see yourself as a ball of energy. And I've once had a kind of a projection like that, and it was very interesting, because I was flowing very fast and the ideas become very clear, and I had a solution for a problem that I was thinking about for some days. And in that time, during that experience, I had a very clear idea of what I should have to do. And this is what they call the mental soma projection. And it's really called the expansion of consciousness. It's when there are some mental soma projections that are so intense with that the person feels one with the universe. It's this state is known like the nirvana state, when you have or also cosmic consciousness, when you have this feeling of expansion, of knowledge, of fraternism, and that you understand better what's going on with the universe and with yourself. And so here we have some characteristics of this vehicle. It's the vehicle of the discernment of the universal values, the fraternism, where I told you, will, ethics, organization, discipline, and holo memory. What we study in conscienciology is that we have an integral memory called holo memory that contains all the experience we lived during our previous lives. And this holo memory is more easily accessed through the mental soma. Okay? So now we have the silver cord that I spoke to you about it. And what I want to show you, to talk about more, is that this silver cord is an energetic and magnetic connection between the soma and the psychosoma. And what would be the physical death when someone dies? When someone dies, it means that this silver cord was cut, and then it's permanent. Once it's cut, either because the person got sick or the person unfortunately went into an accident, then the silver cord is cut, and this is the death, that physical death. In conscienciology, we call it the soma, right? That is the discard of the soma. And it means that it can't be, it's not possible to glue it again, the silver cord, right? And the soma deactivates because it doesn't have the connection with the psychosoma anymore. And so there is also the golden cord, that is an energetic connection between the psychosoma and the mental soma. In fact, people, we call it golden cord, but it's not a cord. It's not golden either. It's just a name. We give it a name, And like the mental soma, it's not seen, but it's perceived that there is a connection between the mental soma and the psychosoma when they are projected, and this is called golden cord. It's situated between the extra-physical dimension and the mental-somatic dimension, as I showed you in some previous slides that had that scheme, right, with the 4 dimensions. And now I'm going to briefly talk about the somas. So first, the soma would be when there is the deactivation of the body, the biological death, in the final projection, and there is the rupture of the silver cord, and some of the energies that were in the Energosoma during life, they will be discarded, right, thrown away. And there is the second, the soma. It's when the consciousness will deactivate totally the Energosoma. There is a total deactivation. And for example, it's very important that the consciousness after the first soma goes through the second soma. It's very good for the consciousness, because she's gonna lose that old Energosoma that's full of the old energies of the previous life, and she's gonna be more able to go to more subtler dimensions and evolve and live his new period of life, right? So it's in fact, there are some consciousnesses who have difficulty in going through the second soma. So they got what we called obnubilated. They died. They had gone through the first soma, but they have difficulty in getting rid of the Energosoma. There are even helpers, extra-physical helpers, that are consciousnesses that are able to help. They are specialists in helping people who went through the first soma to go into the second soma, and they go there and try to discharge the Energosoma so that the consciousnesses get more subtler and go into their evolutionary process, right? And there is also, we study that there is also the third soma that will be for the very evolved consciousnesses. For example, when we study that there is a scale of evolution of consciousnesses, and one of these steps is called the Serenissimus. So when we reach this level of evolution, we are Serenissimus, we will be very much evolved. That will take many lives still, and this Serenissimus, they are able to promote their third soma. That would be the discard of the Psychosoma and permanently live only on the mental soma, right? So we can, if we have a more opportunity, we can talk more about these steps, these 3 somas, okay? According to conscientiology. So we were talking about where are they where are we when we are awake? We are all in holosomatic coincidence, right? And well, I think that's for talking about the Holosoma. That are the main points. Those were the main points. And now I want to hear from you. If you have any doubts, if you have a question, I'll be glad to answer, right? And I will stop sharing here. Okay.
Hi, Eliane.
And
thanks a lot.
thank
Yes,
you,
we
guys.
have a question.
Yes, please.
We have a question. What are the relations between the bodies, the Holosoma, that you were talking to us?
Yes, what we study in conscienciology is that the mental soma is superior to all of them. It means that uh, if we have, for example, a disease, we study that it starts in the mental soma. And if we have to get a cure for that disease, we should start reflecting on about that through mental soma. That's some point. And the relation that we also see is that they're all connected. We need all of them to evolve, right? And we also need, for example, that they are balanced. It doesn't matter, for example, if I only I'm giving a lot of attention for the soma in or the energosoma. For example, there are people who are very much connected to doing exercise, living a healthy life, but they don't care, for example, with the psychosoma, and they carry on, for example, they have hurt feelings. They have to how do I say, to forgive the others. Sometimes they have to recompose with their family and groups so that their psychosoma is also balanced, it's not only the soma and the psychosoma. You have to also take care of the energosoma. For example, working with energies, exteriorizing energies, doing exercises, everything that is related to energosoma will it's also have to be considered. And another thing that people always says is about for example, mental soma is very much connected to intellectuality. It's true. All the intellectual skills that we have are based on the mental soma, but it doesn't. They're not enough. Intellectuality is good, but what we have also to have, for example, consciential openness, fraternism, mental flexibility, so that we can have discernment. So these attributes of each vehicle, they go together so that we can feel that we are balanced, right? I don't know if that answered your question, but you can ask another one. And
Yes,
your
yes,
yeah.
you answer. Now you can hear me. Yes, I was with the
Yes,
micro
ask
off.
again because I
So,
didn't listen.
yes, you answered the question. So I was saying, and I mean, our time is over. So I
Okay.
want to say, you want to have, if you want to say your last words, and then you can introduce the next, our next conference, our next talk.
Yes, okay. Okay. So, people, I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you, to be here with you, right? And I wanted to also invite you for our next lecture that will be next week with teacher Karina Eliasher, that on the team Bioenergies. And then I hope that you don't miss it, because we are going to, it's a sequence of lectures. So we started with the consciential paradigm. Now we're going to I talked about the holosoma, and then you will know more about conscientiology and how can you, for example, deal with your energosoma and bioenergy, so that you can have a more healthier body, more healthier life, and to balance all these vehicles. Okay, so hope to see you there. Thank you very much.